Hi, welcome to Fabric Bias. It is Wednesday, July 31st, 2024, and I'm in the middle of this little project here. It is a Christmas ornament. Now I'm watching two different tutorials, which I'll link below. One of them is as the ornament, which is about 2.5 inches square when you're done, and the other one is bigger. I don't actually remember what size, but it's about a 9-inch circle is the cut. This is the first cut, and it ends up being big enough to be a coaster, which is what she uses it for. So the pattern that they that they show on the Christmas ornament shows a Christmas fabric on the front and a solid fabric. I didn't have a solid, so I just used two Christmas fabrics on mine, and that's what it's going to end up looking like. Of course, this isn't done because I'm still working on it. So she did, in the ornament one, she used a 6-inch circle, which I actually had. I got this in a garage sale, and I was like, oh, is that the right size? It is. So this is a 6-inch circle. She laid it down and then used her rotary cutter to cut around it. I tried that, nicked right into my template here, so I just was like, I'll just lay it down, draw around it, and cut it out with scissors. So that's what I did. Once I had it sewn together, and again, you can see the tutorial is pretty good below, but once I did, I sewed all the way around it, and I actually did sew all the way around it. So I'm trying something out, and it seems to be working easier for me. So what I did when I stitched was I actually started backstitched. Hopefully that's going to come into camera. Sewed around to about here and backstitched, and then I lengthened my stitch really large to, on my machine it's a 5, and I stitched the rest of the way connecting here without backstitching. So I backstitched here and here for the tighter seam stitching, and then I enlarged it for here because I'm going to rip that out. And then I did my cutting with my pinking shears because that's just way easier, and I happen to have them. And now what I'm going to do, and then what I do is I took it to the iron and I pressed down this part right here, which is where the really wide stitching is, on both sides. And I pressed it against that seam as a guide, and then I'm going to rip this little portion out here, which will be really easy because it's super huge stitches. And then when I turn it right side out, I have a little bit more of a guide as to how to push this in. It kind of helps me with that circle shape. And I'm holding my camera so I can't actually show you on camera here. Here, let me see if I can find something to hold. Oh, I'll just leave this on my machine and show you. There. So it kind of gives me a little bit of guide to get that shape in place because I pressed it already. And I just still have to play with it, so I'm not really sure if there's much benefit to it. But it seems to be a little bit easier to do that. Comes out with a little bit nicer curve because I've already kind of given that fabric that memory from when it was stitched. So there's my curve on that. So then I'm stitching all the way around and top stitching. So in the one video that is doing the coasters, she actually hand stitches that closed. I'm going ahead and top stitching everything, because I'm not a huge fan of hand stitching, but I'm going to top stitch everything, and you can kind of see this is where my curve was right there. And then I'm going to move on from there. So I just wanted to show you where I was at with these, because I'm going to go to my appointment to finish them up on that. So I need to hurry up and get this done because I don't have much time, and I still have to get ready before I go. So I just have, right now I have this little stack here that's ready to be go on to the next stage. I'm working on getting this one, the one that's in my machine right now, top stitched, and then I need to flip this one and top stitch it, but I wanted to show you this first before I did that. So there it is. So that is not the finished goal, but that's my goal, to get most of these at least close to this stage so I can do, this is folded under, so I can get some of that done while I'm just sitting and waiting today at my appointment. So I'm going to get going on that so I can get all of these done, and to this, hopefully to this, to the point where I can get those folded in place while I'm waiting. So I'll be back, show you what happens. Real quick, this is what I did to cut it out. All I did was I lined up my fabric. You can see here, this is my template. And I have my fabric, both pieces are folded in half, and then I lined up the raw edges here, and I started from this side with my template, and I just drew as close to the edge as I could to make sure I got nice circles. and all the way up to here. And the reason I lined up from the raw edges and started in this direction is I knew I wouldn't be coming to quite to here, to the edge, and this leaves me a larger piece because of the fold. It leaves me one large piece rather than two small pieces if I'd gone from the fold forward. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I might make that. So just thought I would cut it that way just in case I can use that scrap. Anyway, I get a better scrap out of it is essentially what it is on that. So drew the circle, cut with my scissors, and moved on from there. So I have all of my top stitching done on all these pieces, and so what I'm doing now is I pressed in, I don't know if you can see it on camera, so I pressed in my lines, and I'm only pressing twice. So I'm pressing it in half, folding in half, and then pressing, and then I'm opening it up, and I'm going the opposite direction, and I'm using these lines as guides here, and I'm going to match this line to this line so they're all completely lined up, and then press again. So now I have little quarter inches, or not quarter inch, but quarter rounds, I guess. So that's how that's done. Now I'm not, in the one video that has the Christmas ornament, she does quite a few presses. The other one she doesn't. So again, I would watch both those videos so you can kind of decide on what method you want to use. I'm only folding twice, and it worked just fine. That's how I got this one. And so now I'm going to go stitch, and I'm going to cheat on that too. I'm actually not going to hand stitch it. I'm going to go take it to the machine, and I'm going to stitch right on that fold line. I'm going to open it back up this way and stitch again. I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm going to stitch this, and I'm only going to stitch just a couple stitches right at the top, and that's it. Okay, so there it is right there, and then I'm going to take this and open it up and match now that fold line from the opposite direction here on both sides. And I'm going to stitch it on the machine again. Be careful and make sure that they're all lined up. And again, just a couple stitches right here, forward and back. And then I'm going to be done, and the rest I'll be doing by hand. Okay, so here it is all stitched here, and then you just kind of pull it open and work it into a square, and you start folding. And you can see that in the other tutorial with the woman who's doing a coaster on how she does that. So I'll let you go look at that to see. And I'm going to keep sewing all of mine to this stage, so I will be able to do the rest of it at my appointment. So I have them all sewn together, and I chained them so I would not waste thread. And I'm going to go press them. And I have to cut them apart first, but I'm going to cut them apart first, and then I'm going to press them. And then they should be ready for me to take to my appointment. So I have one of them folded over again, and I do want to tell you that if you're going to stitch them like I did on the machine, you're going to end up with this bump right here, a little bit of height, which I kind of like the depth to it that it adds. I'm going to play with them all and see if it's causing me a problem with putting my petals together or not, but I like it sticking out like that. I'm going to put something in the center here, probably a bell, because I kind of like that idea, and then put the string on and see if that's going to cause me any problems, but so far I kind of like that. Of course, if you're going to do this as the coaster version, then you're definitely not going to want to sew it that way because you don't want a bump. And here they are, almost done. I actually have 5 more strings to add onto them. There's a total of 12, but I wanted to stop doing this so I could get one of these guys done. This is the Sew Together bag by Sew Demented, and if you've been watching my videos over the last few months, you'll know I've been sewing these up to give as Christmas gifts this year. And if you watched my last few videos in July, you'll know that I actually have cut and prepped 6 of these bags in July, not intending to sew all 6 for this month, just wanting to get them prepped because I know the next few weeks and the next few months are going to be really busy on that. But I didn't want to get at least one done in July, so I did pick this one to do today. So let me show you this bag. And there's the inside. Now I did cut out 2 of these that are almost identical, so you're going to see another one of these in the future that looks almost exactly like this one, but I think it's got different zipper colors on that one. I have also sewn with this fabric most recently. I'll link the video above or below, but I made a gift bag for a friend of mine. It was a tote that he called and asked me for a bag, and I had this fabric out and it kind of fit the bill for what he was looking for, and so I used this fabric as well on that. I still have some of it left, so you'll still see projects in the future with this combination. I just love this combination on that. So in the Sew Together bag, I also am continuing to put the fabric loops so that inside each of these open pockets, so that if you want to put a zipper pouch inside here or hook something else in there, put something else in here that you don't want to worry about falling out, you can hook it to these little rings here on that, although I think it will be okay anyway about it. But if you want it extra secure on that, you can use the little loops in there. So let me close that, show you that. There it is, 12 months of Christmas for July, Sew Together bag. Here is my 12 months of Christmas July project, and there you go. I hope you like it. I hope you like them. I hope that wherever and whenever you're at, you're having a great time, and thanks for watching.